PMS, pregnancy, menopause. Each stage of womanhood has its unique challenges. That's why Highlands Naturals' new women's multivitamins are formulated with essential daily nutrients, plus targeted support for your life stage. Facing PMS? There's a Highlands Multi for that. Navigating pregnancy and morning sickness? That too. In the throes of menopause, our formula is here to support you through hot flashes and skin changes. Gone are the days of juggling multiple supplements or guessing what you might need. With Highlands Naturals, it's one multivitamin with daily essential nutrients and science-backed ingredients to support you. An all-in-one wellness solution to lighten the load for women? Highlands Naturals is here for it. Find your multi at Amazon or Highlands.com. That's HYLANDS.com. Highlands Naturals. We're here for it.
Celebrity voice impersonation not an endorsement. Why go to a single furniture store when you can go to Big Sandy Superstore? Shop and compare America's top 5 mattress brands, plus Nectar and Purple. And choose from over 22,000 in-stock appliances from the top brands at the guaranteed lowest price. Or furnish the room of your dreams with a large selection of American-built furniture. With financing plans for just about anyone, there's nowhere else quite like it. Big Sandy Superstore.
The following podcast is a GreenFresh media production.
Hello, good morning, angels, and welcome back to Morning Ray. I'm your host, Allana, Lan, whatever you want to call me, and it is currently 9:21 p.m. at night. I am exhausted, but we are here. We are recording. We have upgraded from the bed to the couch, and I currently don't have a coffee table or a media unit technically I do have a coffee table, but my coffee table is being used as my media unit, like my TV stand, because I just sold my media unit because I'm moving in about a month and a half. And someone bought it. So originally I was going to wait and be like, you can pick it up later. But this person was interested. She didn't seem weird. It was through Facebook Marketplace. So I just sold it and got it over with, and I'll probably order the one that I want soon because I'm in the process of touring apartments. Right now I'm actually tomorrow. So I toured 2 last Friday. They both leased out and they just weren't the right fit. One was at a budget. They wouldn't come down. The other one wasn't exactly what I wanted. So I'm touring 2 more units tomorrow, and then I shall see where that takes me, but there is one building that I really want. So I'm waiting for a bigger unit to come available in that, and I really hope one does. But let's get into the thick of it. I'm a little concerned because I have my dishwasher going. I did a test and you couldn't hear it, so I really hope you can't hear it. If you do, my apologies. But anyhow, a girl has got to do what she has to do. Let's get into our weekly intention. My weekly intention is to really focus on managing my anxiety. I have felt really anxious lately. I've been having nightmares. And it's just been really bad lately, and I'm leaning into my toolbox, and I know that it's only temporary and I'm going to get through this. It's not prohibiting me in any way, but it is definitely not a fun feeling. It doesn't feel great. So we are going to work on managing it. And then our tip of the week is to really lean into our support systems when we are feeling super anxious. Be open and communicate. If you see a therapist, which I highly recommend, and if you're able to, I know it is a privilege, really lean into the tools that they provide you. Set up a session if you find yourself feeling more anxious lately. I'm seeing my therapist next week, which will be really helpful. And yeah, lean into your self-care practices, whether it be journaling or meditating or exercise, movement. Sorry. I saw someone selling Justin Bieber tickets and my friend was looking. Also, fun fact, I'm going to Justin Bieber tomorrow. I'm so excited. Anyways, back onto a much more serious note. tips for like handling anxiety, really lean into your toolbox and your tips. Really lean into your support system. Sometimes talking it out and just hearing your thoughts really, really helps. Okay, now into my current faves. First one is this like salad combination. Corey and Audrey made this up at the cottage and I keep recreating it. So it's arugula, apple, roasted sweet potato, chickpeas, or like I've also been doing canned tuna. I've been adding cashews, avocado, feta, and then balsamic dressing, or you can do whatever dressing. And it is so good. I'm obsessed with it. I'm also currently and finally watching Sex and the City, the TV show. I believe I'm nearing the end of season 2 and I love it so much. And yesterday I made my hair dark again. It had faded and I'm back to being really dark brunette. And I absolutely love it and it makes me really happy. So those are my current favorites. Okay. Now let's get into today's episode. I feel like, well, the bulk of today's episode. I'm sorry if I'm a bit scatterbrained in this episode. It is late. I've been tired. I did not get much sleep last night. But anyhow, we are going to be talking about setting boundaries, being selfish and setting those boundaries in a healthy way, standing up for yourself, whether it be with family, friendships, in relationships, at work, and really overcoming this people pleaser complex. I think that would be the right term. I used to struggle hugely with people pleaser, like being a people pleaser. And it would control like every single decision I made and how I reacted and the way I acted towards others and around others. And it really controlled my life. And it is something that I worked on myself. It's something I worked on in therapy. And I'm not going to say I'm completely not a people pleaser anymore, but I do strongly and confidently believe that I have come a long way. And I'm sure my therapist can agree on that. So what exactly is a people pleaser? I feel like I've been searching up so many definitions, but I think it's really fun and you guys seem to really like it. So, according to WebMD, I feel like this is a trustworthy source. A people pleaser is typically someone everyone considers helpful and kind. When you need help with a project or someone to help you study for an exam, they're more than willing to set it up. Okay. I feel like Merriam-Webster Dictionary is going to give us a better definition. I wasn't really fond of that definition. Okay. Definition of people pleaser. Someone or something that pleases or wants to please people. Often a person who has an emotional need to please others, often at the expense of his or hers or, oh wow, we cannot read today. A person who has an emotional need to please others, often at the expense of his or her own needs or desires. Okay, so I personally have experienced being a people pleaser. I always hated and still obviously do. I don't like when people dislike me or are mad at me or upset with me. And so I would do everything that I could to ensure that that did not happen. And so that led me to become a people pleaser. And I constantly put what other people valued and wanted, their needs and desires above my own. And yes, that is okay to do sometimes, but it becomes an issue when you do it all the time. And I struggled with this for a really long time because I would constantly belittle myself and belittle my own feelings and emotions. And I wouldn't validate them because I felt like other people's needs, desires, feelings, emotions were so much more important than my own, which is so far from the truth and it's so not okay. And if you're still doing that, that is totally okay. We can work on that. There's always room for growth and improvement, self-improvement, self-growth, and we can start today and you can work on it. And it is possible to overcome being a people pleaser. And I promise, like, obviously I'm no like medical doctor, like psychologist or therapist or anything, but I can guarantee from my own experiences that overcoming being a people pleaser is the most like thrilling thing ever, and you feel so much more independent and like you trust yourself. Hold on, we are just going to pause this because I can't record in this space with the dishwasher going. Like, it is just really distracting. Just give me a moment. Okay, it's being a little quieter now, so we're still in the same spot, but hopefully I don't jinx that. Okay, so and talking about like my experiences with being a people pleaser, I feel like this is something I really struggled with up until university. And within university, I started to let go of people pleasing over time. And definitely within the past 2 years, I have really overcome it. I want to say at least 80%. I would say, okay, the dishwasher's going in. We're going to move to the bedroom. We are going back to the bed. I'm going to say that this is an upgrade. We are upgrading over here. Um, please deal with me in today's episode. This is how I think. Me and my friend Shayna always discuss like how like she's diagnosed with ADHD. I'm not, but I'm convinced. I'm very much convinced, especially right now because I can't focus. Maybe it's because I'm tired. I don't know. But we're going to go to the bedroom because it's going to be quiet. We're going to the bedroom, guys. It's getting spicy. We're getting spicy over here. 1 second. Being super busy can make it really easy to fall into a dinner time recipe rut, or even with your lunches. Any meal, honestly, can get you into a rut, especially with a busy schedule this fall. You can keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every single week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. It's truly a no-brainer. It does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep, pre-proportioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. It's never been easier. I personally love HelloFresh as a way to get exposure to new recipes, make my life a bit easier as a busy 20-year-old in the city. And I love that it's worry-free, it's super easy, it's convenient, and gets delivered straight to my door. Go to hellofresh.com/50ray and use code 50ray for 50% off plus free shipping. That's hellofresh.com/50RAE and use code 50RAE, 50RAE for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit, and thank you for sponsoring today's episode of Morning Ray.
It's the Smucker's Uncrustables podcast with your host, Uncrustables. Okay, today's guest is rough around the edges. Please welcome Crust.
Thanks for having me.
Today's topic, he's round with soft, pillowy bread.
Hey.
Filled with delicious PB&J.
Are you talking about yourself?
And you can take him anywhere.
Why'd you invite
And we are out of time.
Are you really cutting me off?
Uncrustables are the best part of the sandwich. Sorry, Crust.
Okay, we're in the bedroom. I feel a lot more settled in, but okay. People pleasing. So I feel like I definitely have overcome people pleasing significantly in the past 2 years. So I want to say like throughout the pandemic, maybe a little bit before, like after I transferred universities, I feel like that was like this like awakening where I started to really let go of like this people pleasing. I want to even say when I started my Instagram account, because I started to really not give a fuck what people thought of me, and I started to just like really just do things for myself, and I started to really come into myself and into my own, I want to say in 2019, and it really came into full like fruition in 2021. So it was definitely like a growth period, but it was something that I really had to work on myself, and I think therapy was a huge part of that. Really breaking down why I felt the need to please other people and why I cared so much about what other people thought of me, and like what other people thought of me and how I was perceived. It was a huge thing of like how I was perceived, people's opinions of me, what my reputation was, all of that. And that is why people please. And as soon as I like stopped caring so much about what other people thought, I was really able to start to make actions that benefited me and put myself first. Obviously, like, we're not going to be narcissists over here and ignorant to other people's feelings and not sensitive to that. But at the same time, it's knowing what's right and wrong given within like reason. I really hope like you understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying like to like just like pave like over everyone and like completely ignore their feelings and like forget that and everything. But there's a level to which it is healthy and there's a level to which it is unhealthy. And people pleasing constantly is really unhealthy, in my opinion. And it's really draining and tiring, and it's consuming. It consumes your thoughts. It makes you overthink every single decision and choice that you make. And it gets really tiring when you're doing it for 19, 20, 21 years of your life and all the time. So I overcame it through working on my self-esteem, really learning and digging down to the root cause of like why I felt this need. For me personally,
I feel like my list of things to buy, to do, activities that involve spending money is never ending around the holidays, making the idea of investing and saving and thinking about your future to be a little bit more challenging, a little bit more overwhelming. Acorns makes it easy to start automatically saving and investing for you, your kids, and your retirement, even during the holidays. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that matches you. You don't need a ton of time. You can create your Acorns account and start automatically investing your money in just 5 minutes. You don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now. That could be $5 a day or even just your spare change. That's right, Acorns can round every purchase you make up to the dollar and automatically invest your spare change for you. And you can get bonus investments just for buying the stuff you need from the brands you love. I personally love Acorns. It's simplified the investment process, which can be overwhelming and intimidating, but it just makes it so simple, so easy, and something more accessible no matter how much money you have to invest. Head to acorns.com/Allana or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/Allana. I'm super excited about today's sponsor. They've sponsored the podcast before, and this is a topic I'm super passionate about. I fear that us as girls struggle with PMS far more than we should, and we really shouldn't. I truly get the worst PMS symptoms. My boobs are sensitive, my face breaks out, my sugar controllings are out of whack. I feel like I'm just a bottomless pit. My mood is not the vibe, and Estro Control has been super helpful in helping manage those PMS symptoms and making that time of the month a lot more enjoyable. Estro Control is a formula developed by Happy Mammoth, a supplement company dedicated to making women's lives easier. Say no more. Estro Control contains science-backed herbal extracts that help support hormonal health, especially if you are someone like myself who struggles with PMS. It was created to help women feel like themselves all month long and to not struggle with the feelings PMS can cause. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code Allana at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code Allana for 15% off today.
I really think it had something to do with trying to fit in, wanting people to acknowledge me, wanting people to like me. I would say, like, reflecting back, that's really what it was. And if you are able to figure out why you feel this urge and this tendency to want to people please all the time, you can become aware of it, and then you can definitely nip it at the butt and start to work on it and start to make choices and decisions that benefit you and move away from this people pleasing practice. So let's get into setting boundaries. I was inspired to discuss about setting boundaries and standing up for yourself and like being selfish from Emma Chamberlain's episode. I haven't listened to it yet, so I'm not really sure what her approach to it is, but I saw the title when I was like scrolling on my podcast. I love her podcast, Anything Goes. You guys know I love Emma. But that's what inspired today's topic, and I feel like it's really relevant to some events that have been going on in my life. So I felt really called to talk about this today. Okay, and for this week's podcast episode. So setting boundaries. I think it's really important, especially with our lives being online and being able to be accessible all the time. It's really important to set those boundaries. Whether you have a following online or you don't, setting boundaries with like what you share with your following or what you share online is really important. Also, like knowing what boundaries you are willing to let people cross and not cross in your personal life. And that is like in their behaviors, and the way that people speak to you and the way that people treat you. I think if you don't show your self-respect, how can you expect other people to show you respect? And you can set a boundary in the way in which you treat yourself and show people you treat yourself. I think that is so important. The way you value yourself and look at yourself is only going to be able to lead with example as to how other people should. If you're treating yourself poorly and you are showing others that you don't care about yourself or your feelings or who you are as a person, that's only giving them the right to treat you the same way. And if you don't want to be treated that same way, then you need to show yourself respect. You need to stand up for yourself and you need to set those boundaries, and you need to speak up when you don't appreciate the way someone's treating you, speaking to you, acting towards you, behaving around you. That's like one way to set boundaries. Another way of setting boundaries is knowing what you like and what you don't like. Maybe you used to really enjoy going out all the time with your friends and staying out late and going to clubs and drinking and binge drinking and maybe smoking and whatnot. But maybe you're at a period in your life where you're kind of past that and you're not super into that. I know personally, I'm not in my party girl era anymore. I like got over that in early university for the most part. Yeah, I still have some waves of it, like where I go through phases, but I'm definitely like past that part, that stage in my life. So I'm sorry if my voice is kind of scratchy. I'm not really sure. I think it's because it's late at night, but back to the boundaries. If your friends are begging you all the time to come out and like calling you a loser for not coming out, I think it's important to be aware of setting those boundaries. Like, listen, like I love hanging out with you when we're doing XYZ, but I'm not really up for coming out and partying every weekend, and I want to stay home tonight, and you're going to respect that. And like, that's like another way of setting boundaries. Or maybe you're still going to go out, but you're not going to drink as much, or maybe you're not going to smoke, or maybe you're going to go home a bit earlier, and you're going to set that boundary by one, setting that boundary within yourself, and two, communicating that to the people you are with. And I guess like setting boundaries, being selfish, and standing up for yourself all kind of like overlap in that sense. Because that is like you are being selfish, yes, but it is being selfish in a very healthy and reasonable way. You should be allowed to say no. You should be allowed to put your interests and what you feel your mind, body, soul, spirit, etc. need in that moment. And if your friends are offended by you wanting to stay home or go home earlier or not participate in the drinking or not be like as involved in those activities, then maybe we need to reevaluate why we're still friends with these people if they can't respect the boundaries that you're setting and the things that you want to do. Like you respect your friends and they should respect you back, and you respect their decisions and they should respect yours, and it's important to set those boundaries. And it's okay to be selfish. I think as we get older, and I feel like the pandemic really taught us how to be selfish in a healthy way. At least I found that for me. I learned to put like my own interests and preferences first and to really be selfish in both like my relationships, platonic and romantic. Setting those boundaries is really important. Lastly, we are going to discuss standing up for yourself. There are different circumstances in which you are going to have to stand up for yourself. And this will happen within your family. This will happen in friendships. This will happen in romantic relationships. And it's going to happen at work. And I feel like there are different ways to go about it. Obviously, there are different environments. There are different circumstances in which you would have to stand up for yourself in situations. For an example of like when you would have to stand up to your family, maybe your family doesn't live as healthy and an active lifestyle as you, and they keep like making fun of you for living like a healthier lifestyle, or like wanting to work out, or wanting to make healthier quote unquote recipes, or wanting to cook at home instead of going out all the time. And it is okay to stand up to yourself and say, listen, it's okay if you want to do these things, but I'm going to do this. I actually wouldn't lead with the you statements. I've learned that to like avoid lighting a fire, like putting someone on fight or flight mode, it's really important to lead with I statements. And I've used this in so many different situations, and like all these different situations with family, with friends, and relationships at work. It's really important to lead with those I statements, because when you start to say you do this and you do that and you're doing that and whatever, and you, it's really triggering to them, and you're only like placing blame on them.
Being super busy can make it really easy to fall into a dinner time recipe rut, or even with your lunches. Any meal, honestly, can get you into a rut, especially with a busy schedule this fall. You can keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every single week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. It's truly a no-brainer. It does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep, pre-proportioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. It's never been easier. I personally love HelloFresh as a way to get exposure to new recipes, make my life a bit easier as a busy 20-year-old in the city. And I love that it's worry-free, it's super easy, it's convenient, and gets delivered straight to my door. Go to hellofresh.com/50ray and use code 50ray for 50% off plus free shipping. That's hellofresh.com/50RAE and use code 50ray 50RAE for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit, and thank you for sponsoring today's episode of Morning Ray.
This is the smell of a warm 3-day-old egg salad sandwich in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech. And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag with new Fabuloso lemon scent.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Smell the difference? When life gives you stinky, get Hefty Ultra Strong with new Fabuloso lemon scent. It smells like clean, freshly picked lemons. So no matter what's inside your trash, you can stop the stink and smell the lemon.
But if you lead with I statements like, I feel blank, I am this, or I prefer this, or I want this, XYZ, I statements, you are not trying to say how that person is behaving or how they should feel. You are only speaking on what you are experiencing, and therefore they're going to come back to you, ideally, most likely, in a much more calm state and a much more clearer mentality, and they're not going to feel like so triggered and like fight or flight or like heated. Like I can't think of like the actual word that I want to say, but like all those things kind of describe it. So practice leading with those I statements. And if you have to write it out in your notes before, or if you have to send an email, I know with like family, like in the past, like when something was bothering me, like I knew I wouldn't have been able at the time to communicate it in my words and in the way that I wanted to. So I wrote a letter to the person, and then we spoke about it afterwards in person. And that really helped me get all my thoughts out. And I felt like relieved because I was like letting it out on paper, kind of like journaling. And I was able to really think it through. And then we could have an open discussion in person about it. The same thing about friendships. You can do that too. Like maybe your friend is doing something that is making you feel really uncomfortable. I have been feeling this way lately. These actions have made me feel such and such, and I'd really like to discuss it with you because I want to clear the air or something. Same thing with relationships. In work, it's really important to stand up for yourself a lot of the times, especially if you are new in your career, if you are in a more junior or entry-level role, or you are new to the company. It's easy to feel intimidated by your superiors or people who have been at the company longer, but it is so important to know your worth, know your value, stand up for yourself, because if you're not going to stand up for yourself, who is? Like, you need to stand up for yourself, and you need to protect yourself and put yourself first, because you matter, your feelings matter, and I think it's a really important skill to be able to stand up for yourself and be confident in doing so, and to do so in a professional and a polite manner. Selena Gomez said this, and it's something I'm sure other people have said it, but obviously like the way that like she said it really impacted me, and it's something I've always kept, but kill them with kindness. Like, just like be like really clear in how you are feeling. Lead with those I statements. Don't point fingers, just like lead with I statements, state how you're feeling based on the events, and just like lead calmly, lead with purpose, lead with clarity, and kill them with kindness. Like, don't lead like you want to lead like headstrong. Like, it's really easy to get your emotions pulled into setting boundaries and being selfish and standing up for yourself. But if you really encourage yourself and practice thinking logically and speaking logically, I can almost guarantee you that it's going to work in your favor, and it's not going to burn bridges, hopefully. At least in my experiences in setting boundaries and being selfish and standing up for myself in the recent years, in the past, I've burned bridges, but I'm very confident in that I have been able to set boundaries and be selfish and stand up for myself and my feelings and what I respect, I believe I deserve and know I deserve in a very professional and mature manner. So it is getting late. This episode is definitely a shorter one, and it's a little all over the place, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please, please, please let me know on the Morning Ray Pod Instagram or on my Instagram at Allana Blumberg what episode topics you'd like to hear, who you would like to hear on the podcast. And if you like today's episode or any episodes of Morning Ray, I would really love if you could leave a rating on Spotify and a rating or review on Apple Podcasts, as that's how you can help support the pod. This past week, we were top 21 in the education top charts in Canada, which is incredible. It completely blows my mind. Like, my goal, it would be incredible, and not that this is incredible, but incredible to be like in the top 20, eventually in the top 10. It would just be like a dream of mine complete. So you can support the pod by leaving a rating and or review. I would really, really love that. And make sure to subscribe, as that's also how you can help support the pod and how you can make sure you don't miss another episode. I love you guys so much, and we'll chat soon. Bye, guys.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky?
In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, oh, sorry. We were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.